on the Lobo Sports Network. Lobo Basketball has been brought to you by New Mexico State Parks Boating and Safety. Be safe on the water. Lobos wear life jackets. PNM. Talk to us at pnm.com. Also brought to you by Route 66 Casino Hotel. Quality service and value. Get your kicks. This is the Lobo Postgame Show. Once again, Robert Portnoy.
Welcome back inside the Smith Spectrum in Logan, Utah. New Mexico falls to Utah State 89-80 is your final score tonight. It's the Lobo Basketball Postgame Show. Tonight, the Lobos had one Everguard Solar and Everguard Roofing Slam Dunk. That means $10 to All Faiths. All Faiths serves over 2,500 kids and their families every year by teaching them how to prevent abuse and guiding them as they recover from it. Help us give children back their childhood. Learn more by visiting allfaiths.org. Tons to do on the Lobo Basketball Postgame Show from Logan. Stay with us. Utah State 89, Lobos 80 is the final. Lobo Basketball from Learfield. Welcome back on the Lobo Basketball Postgame Show. We're live in Logan, Utah. New Mexico falls 89-80 to those Utah State Aggies. The Lobos had closed within 3, and with just under a minute remaining, 57 seconds remaining in a 3-point game, it looked like the Lobos might pull off a remarkable comeback, but Utah State scored the final 6, and they win it 89-80 is your final score. Bank of the West continues its commitment as the Lobo 3-point basket sponsor. After every game, they donate to Special Olympics of New Mexico. For more than 20 years now, Bank of the West has contributed over $100,000 to Special Olympics of New Mexico as part of its proud commitment to the Lobos. Post-game comments with Lobo head coach Paul Weir, PNM Reliable Player of the Game, Subway Sub of the Game. Still plenty to come on the post-game show from Logan, Utah. Utah State 89, Lobos 80, final. Back after this, Lobo Basketball from Learfield. We're back in Logan, Utah. It's Lobo Basketball postgame show. Utah State 89, New Mexico 80 is your final tonight from the Smith Spectrum. All right, it's time for us to select our State Farm Insurance assist of the game. And when teammates help each other out, great plays happen like this. Simons at a steals, a loose ball finds Antono Jackson. Antono drives, kicks left corner. McNeil fakes a 3, throws it left wing. There's a 3 from Troy Simons. He got another, and he holds the pose. Big triple left wing for Troy, his second of the night. Lobos back in front, 41-32. The lead swells to 9. Well, apologies, that one's not from tonight's contest, but we'll get you another assist of the game if we can. All right, let's take a time out here. When we come back after the break, our post-game comments with Lobo headman Paul Weir. Lobo basketball from Learfield. Back on the Lobo basketball post-game show from Logan, Utah in the Smith Spectrum. 89-80 is the final. Utah State defeats New Mexico. It's time for a post-game coach's comments with Lobo head coach Paul Weir. Coach Weir, it looked like this game was one that you might steal there at 83-80. A couple too many Utah State runs for you to overcome, but your team never quit playing shorthanded tonight.
Yeah, no, you're right. We were close. Unfortunately, just made too many mental mistakes, not only down the stretch, but just over the course of the game. We didn't really play very well tonight. I'm glad we made some shots late, but just did not play well enough to win. It's disappointing because it's a winnable game, but we obviously couldn't get it done.
Well, Coach, you made some adjustments, especially being shorthanded. Looked like you went to that zone quite a bit, and then, of course, your pressure wasn't extended full court. You kind of picked up at half court. But they were still able to shoot the Aggies at a high clip, at a high percentage. Is that just because they were, you were out of position, or because I just thought there was no answer for McEwen. McEwen was just anything he wanted, he was able to do. Yeah, no question. Obviously, when he's making step-back threes and going off the glass and all that, it's hard to stop.
The big key for us this game was going to be trying to keep our bigs out of foul trouble, and we were just trying to protect them as much as we can, either with the zone or just keeping guys maybe from getting to the paint a lot and them picking up fouls. So, obviously we want to guard the 3-point line, but, they made some good shots tonight, and you got to tip your cap a little bit to them. And it was unfortunately something we were probably going to have to give up a little bit, because if they got the ball inside and obviously went at Joe and, got to the paint a lot, that was just what we went into it saying. We had to keep our bigs out of foul trouble, just because we only really have the one. So it was just, what we decided, a calculated risk. I thought a lot of those threes, to be honest with you, we were right there on a challenge. I mean, it wasn't like they were just horse shots. I mean, we had some pretty good contests. They were step backs. They were contested, and they made some really tough ones. And at the end of the day, when you look at the film, those are really what you have to live with, particularly when you're trying to keep your bigs out of foul trouble.
The threes from Brown, that would be just the one maybe that is unexpected. He did have a pretty good night, and a couple of them early.
Yeah, no, they were on fire early. I mean, they came out smoking, made shots all over the place. Again, I thought they were contested. I thought they were pretty good shots. It was kind of what we were looking for, because they weren't. I mean, we had one foul with however many. It was working, and we were okay with that because we were hanging around within striking distance, and we didn't have foul trouble. And the only way I thought tonight would have been bad for us is if we got into foul trouble across the board. So we were okay kind of doing that kind of shootout kind of a game, provided we stayed out of foul trouble. We just weren't able to kind of make enough shots, and they were able to make more.
They did. They shot 54% from three, but you felt like your three-point field goal defense, at least contesting, was pretty good. McEwen, off the dribble, certainly the step-back three and the bank shot three against the shot clock, those are ones you just throw out the window. But the offensive rebounding, the rebounding overall from the guard position, that's really impressive from him.
He's a tremendous player. I mean, he showed it tonight. He's an elite-level player, and when you have elite-level players, that's what elite-level players do, and he was tremendous tonight. We tried a bunch of different guys on him to try and contain him. I wouldn't, unfortunately, some of our guys, that isn't necessarily their strong suit. We don't have guys that can really lock guys down as part of it. And he kind of got going. The zone, I think, at one point kind of slowed him up a little bit, but then they got into a rhythm there. And he's a tremendous player, and when you couple that with a very poor mental game tonight, we just made a lot of mental mistakes execution-wise. It leads to obviously a really good game for him and a really good game for Utah State.
Were those on the defensive end mentally or offensive?
I'd say mostly the defensive end. I thought, we missed a lot of layups, which to me is concentration and mental just habits. We traveled and came to stops and turned the ball over. And I don't know, we just did some things that mentally you can't do. And then defensively, we obviously made a ton. We were awful in ball screens tonight. That's as bad as we've been at ball screens since Fresno. We were bad there. We were bad on the glass. I mean, the free throw rebound late. We just weren't very sharp, and that's disappointing because that's on me. That's on me as a coach, and I just told them that I'm obviously not coaching them well enough, and it just means it's going to get harder. That's how this is going to go.
Do you think that conditioning would play a factor?
I don't know. I told them that in the locker room. If it is conditioning, then that's on them. And I hope it's not. I'd like to think it might have been just distractions and us not being experienced enough as a team, and a lot of guys, however many guys are doing really their first start at Utah State and trying to work through that, coupled with being short some players and whatever other distractions enter into it. But that's still no excuse. We should have won the game tonight and should have done everything we could to get there, and quite frankly, we didn't do it.
Along the lines of mental mistakes, and there's no single one that ends up costing a game, but the one foul that was taken by Troy Simons toward the end, did he hear from your bench that he thought he wanted to, that he should foul?
Yeah, unfortunately we were out of timeouts. I blew two there early in the second half when I thought the game was getting away from us, and we kind of ran out in the process. And at our last timeout that we were at 14 fouls, and I was like, we're going to have to get this up to 7 quickly. So when you're in a situation to foul here, let's do it. We went on a run. We got to one possession. Unfortunately, we never got a chance to talk about it again, and Troy kind of made a foul there. It wasn't the greatest decision, but that wasn't on Troy. That was on me for wasting timeouts.
Well, for fans who might not have heard in our postgame, Coach, that might be learning just now that Antono Jackson was not here tonight. Share for them, please, the one-game suspension and what the future might hold for Ant.
Yeah, I mean, I was brought here to build a program. That's what I'm trying to do. We do it every day in a plethora of ways. I've had to suspend players this year. I've had to suspend staff members this year. I've had to do certain things that I feel is right so that we have the right foundation here. And unfortunately, holding people accountable, it's not convenient of when it's not time convenient. And is the timing of this good? Of course it's not. I know that. They know that. We all know that. But that doesn't mean I'm going to turn a blind eye to things that I think need to be handled. And that's for everyone in this program. I love Antono no different than every other person in this program. It's a teachable moment, no different than the ones we've had for other players or other people in this program that I've had to do. And I'll continue to do this every game, every day that I'm here. And if that means someone's missing a big game or a tournament game or whatever it happens to be, then that's just the way it's going to be.
Chris McNeil, we talked about him in the pregame that he would need to have a big game for you tonight, and he did all of that. It was a tremendous effort overall. Is it possible that McNeil and Ant can both have, I guess there needs to be a lead dog, but can they coexist both, with, great production without necessarily one taking over for the other?
I've never this season ever had a worry about us offensively. Whether it's Chris McNeil, Antono Jackson, Anthony, I don't have fears about us offensively. I don't get concerned. I don't get upset unless we're making kind of fundamental technical errors. I think eventually we have enough talent and we have a scheme where we're going to be able to make shots and play. We just have to defend. And right now we can't guard. When you take your biggest guy off the floor and your number one deflections guy off the floor, there's going to be a little bit of a letdown, and it showed tonight. And I told those guys that, and that's something that they have to get better at themselves as young men, and I have to get better at as a coach. But until we learn to defend, we're not going to win a game like this.
So this is the first time now that you will play a team for a second time coming up. You have San Jose State at their place. Hopefully you'll be at closer to full strength than just the 7 tonight. But your thoughts on going to San Jose?
Right now, none. We have to kind of regroup, get ready for the next game. Everything in the last few days has all been about Utah State, and we'll start on San Jose tonight. And obviously, it's a quick turnaround and a lot of travel and everything else. But right now, we're just going to pour our hearts into San Jose State and get ready for that game.
Is there any chance, given the situations with the bereavement for Jakai being with his family, his father passed away, and the concussion protocol for Vlad, that either one potentially could be available this weekend?
I really don't know. Unfortunately, I don't know. My conversations with Jakai are school and family. I haven't mentioned anything to do with basketball, and nor has he. So whenever that kind of plays out, it'll play out.
All right, Coach Weir. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Lobo head coach Paul Weir, our postgame coach's comments from the Smith Spectrum in Logan. 89-80 is the final. Utah State defeats UNM. We pause. Come back right after this timeout. Lobo basketball from Learfield. Back in the Beehive State on the Lobo basketball postgame show. 89-80 is the final. Utah State defeats New Mexico. All right, it's time to select our PNM Reliable Player of the Game. There were some choices tonight, Hunter. Chris McNeil was outstanding. Yeah. Anthony Mathis was terrific. Makwach Malawach had a great one. What, in terms of the PNM Reliable Player of the Game, who was it for you tonight?
I think Mathis. He really stepped up. And it really started on the defensive end, and then of course with his shooting from the three, really, created that opportunity for him to be the player of the game.
And the other thing that he did as the backup point guard tonight was distribute 5 assists to go with his 25 points. Exactly. Your PNM Reliable Player of the Game, your Lobo game changer, was Anthony Mathis. We'll play the remaining 2:10 with 4 fouls. Oh. Simons with a beautiful steal on the inbound, saved it from the cheerleaders to Kuiper. To Mathis for a wing three, and he got it. Tone, 25 on the night. How quickly did the Lobos get that into the front court? And Anthony Mathis is absolutely on fire. Yeah, 25 points for Anthony Mathis. 8 of 13 floor, 6 of 10 from 3, 3 of 3 from the foul line. 2 rebounds, 5 assists before fouling out in 36 minutes of court time. A career-high 25 points. Anthony Mathis, your PNM Reliable Player of the Game. PNM delivers reliable energy to you 24/7. Community partners. PNM adding cleaner resources, including more solar and wind energy, working to build a strong, sustainable energy future for New Mexico. Talk to us at pnm.com, where you can manage your account and learn how to save money on your electric bill. Your PNM reliable player of the game, none other than Lobo shooting guard / point guard, Anthony Mathis. Okay, timeout. We come back to wrap it up in the Lobo basketball postgame show next from Logan, Utah. 89-80 the final. Utah State defeats the Lobos. Lobo basketball from Learfield. We are back to wrap it up on the Lobo basketball postgame show, live from the Smith Spectrum in Logan, Utah. New Mexico falls 89-80 to the host Utah State Aggies. Albuquerque Downs Racetrack and Casino is your home for winning entertainment, including simulcast racing. All right, Hunter Green, who is your Subway sub of the game here tonight? The Lobos only played with 7.
And it wasn't Mondragon, the walk-on.
Right, so that gives you one choice.
Yeah, thanks, man.
I really put you on the spot there, didn't I?
Troy
Simons.
Jerry Simons played well. Now he didn't shoot the ball well, but he had some key steals and played, I thought, decent defense. And for a guy who sat out, he's missed 5 or 6 games. And
when he made that steal on the sideline on the inbound pass down the finish, I thought that maybe the Lobos were going to come back and win this game.
Gave New Mexico an opportunity to win it, but no, he played well off the bench, and so did Mondragon. I mean, here's a guy who's a walk-on, does everything all the other guys do in practice, study table, you name it. Comes in, plays his heart out. They said he played 2 minutes. I thought maybe he played a little longer than that. And but he was able to give Firstinger a breather, Malawach a breather. So, but no, Troy was the sub of the game.
All right, so Troy Simons with 8 points tonight. He had a steal, an assist. He had 3 rebounds. One of those was offensive. He knocked down 2 3-balls. Troy Simons is your Subway sub of the game. Congratulations, Troy. Subway restaurants keep you going on and off the court. Stop in today. Subway, eat fresh. Troy Simons, the Subway sub of the game. Okay, it's time for our assist of the night. Courtesy of State Farm Insurance, when teammates help each other out, great plays happen like this. Malawach catches, left elbow extended. Feeds right wing beyond the arc here to McNeil. Chris gets a ball screen from Firstinger. Once at top of the arc 3, it's no good. Firstinger clears another rebound. It's his 6th to go with 6 points. Now Mathis has it out high. To left wing to McQuatch. Malawach, beautiful catch and shoot 3 ball off a great find by Anthony Mathis. Lobos have their biggest lead, 35-31. Yeah, and that was when they were making that terrific run right there at the end of the first half, Hunter, and they went up by 4. I don't know. Sometimes there are moments in a game, and you look back and you go, well, that was maybe a sign that something wasn't going to happen tonight. And when Utah State ended up scoring the last 8 of the first half, and that last bucket on the air ball with 2 seconds to go, those are the kinds of signs that it might not be your night.
Yeah. No, you know what? The bottom line is the Lobos brought the effort. Like Coach said, there may have been some mental mistakes. But I thought, hats off to Utah State. Those guys shot lights out. You look in the second half, they shot 63%, almost 64%, 7 of 11. How do you beat a team at home that shoots like that?
The Lobos shot 73% from 3. Utah State was 7 of 11. The Lobos were 8 of 11. Yeah. You tip your cap.
Yeah.
You tip your cap. We talked to one of the teams get to 13, 14, or 15 threes. They both got to 13 threes for the game. All right. So there it is, your State Farm Insurance assist of the game. Mathis to Malawach for 3. It is presented by State Farm Insurance. Get an agent that gets you. Well, the Lobos were trying to get an unlikely victory here tonight, Hunter, in Logan, with just 7 players. The concussion for Vladimir Pinchuk, the bereavement for Ja'Kai Simmons back in New Jersey with family. His father passed away. Again, sending all of our thoughts and prayers to Ja'Kai and his family. And then the 1-game suspension for Antono Jackson. Would have been an incredible win.
Yeah,
for sure. Overall, you say you did like the effort for starting.
I like the effort. Now, I tell you what I like. I really like Coach Ware's stance. His stance for what guys are accountable for. Not
what
only
his program's going to stand
exactly.
for.
Exactly. It's when you come in and you try to establish yourself and you want to build this program the right way, you've got to do it up front, early, and that's what he's doing. I mean, as painful as it is.
Uncompromising.
Exactly. And, my hat's off to Coach Ware and his staff for staying with it and taking this. Because it's just tough. It's tough for a coach to make these decisions. But, Antono Jackson's life is going to be more than just this year of playing basketball for the Lobos. And I think this lesson learned, hopefully he will take this lesson and build on it. And of course, the program essentially will grow from this. I mean, this is something that's painful to take today, but, in March, we'll look back and say, you know what? It was worth it, and here we are. So,
Antono did post something via his Twitter account, a little note about his suspension. He took responsibility for it. He said that he made a mistake. He owned up to that. He said that he hopes that his team and the support around Lobo basketball and the fans will continue to embrace him, that this will not define him. And Coach Ware did tell us in the pregame that he thought that it would be just a one-game suspension, though he said, I'm going to talk with Antono when we get back to Albuquerque, and we'll go from there. Yep. So another trip. Yeah. Really only going to be home for about 24 hours, and the Lobos have to get right back out on the road.
San Jose. Yeah.
San Jose and the Spartans, 4 o'clock tip-off. That'll be this coming Saturday, February 3rd, 4 o'clock Mountain Time tip-off. Airtime 3:30 Mountain with the Bank of the West pregame show. The Lobos rocked San Jose State early in the conference slate, 80-47 at home. But the Spartans have been tough at home on opposing teams. Not a lot of wins, obviously. They still don't have one in conference, but they have scared some folks at home. So you can't go in there.
You don't want to take them lightly. Yep. Exactly.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. Hunter, good stuff as always. Enjoyed being with you here in Logan. We sure had a lot better weather on this visit, didn't we?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Certainly did. Yesterday it was warmer here than it was in Albuquerque.
Unbelievable. So quickly on the scoreboard, Wyoming went into Colorado State and defeated the Rams 91-86 tonight. The Spartans lead UNLV 23-13 in Vegas. That's midway through the first half. And Nevada has a 2-point edge, 16-14, midway through the first half in Reno. That's going to do it for us. For my broadcast partner, Hunter Green, I'm Robert Portnoy. Thank you to our producer and engineer in the studios of Learfield in Jeff City, Missouri, Casey Wolfmeyer. We're going to say so long for the final time tonight. The Lobos, with this loss, they did to 11-12 overall and 6-4 in conference play. Utah State improves to 13-11 and 6-5 in league. As New Mexico falls here in Logan, Utah, to the Utah State Aggies. Get a chance at them again at home coming up in a very short time. Actually, the Lobos will take on Utah
Valentine's
State.
Day.
Yep, Feb 14. So we're just a couple of weeks away and a rematch in Albuquerque. Final score for the final time. Utah State 89, New Mexico 80. So long, everybody. You're missing a Lobo basketball from Learfield.